So after listening to this album a few times now, I think it's definitely come to me that my fear of this being the final J. Cole record, I'm kind of rested on saying that's not going to happen and that it isn't the final J. Cole record. And this isn't based on anything he's said inherently. I mean, he has promised us the fall off, and he did tell us that there was a mixtape called It's a Boy coming out too or something. That's not the only reason though that I feel like this isn't the last J. Cole record, because yeah, it definitely like I know he is coming with those other two records, but in the documentary for this, which I did not mention at all in my review, the documentary for the off season, it was mentioned in that documentary where he was saying like, I got to do this stuff before I get out of here, and it kind of sounds like he's saying this is the final record, but when you actually listen to it, you're kind of left with this impression of this doesn't feel finished. Not that it feels unfinished, it just feels like this doesn't feel like someone's final record by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I could honestly say the same about something like No Pressure, even though that didn't end up being the final record, so that doesn't really work. But something about No Pressure was the route Logic had gone down and the way he kind of went back to the beginning for one last time. Let's just say that is the final Logic record, because it is the last Logic record that's come out, except Doc D, which is almost under a different persona. So, just excluding that, No Pressure was a great finale, because in those other two, ever since Under Pressure, he's just been making worse records, and I think he recognized that, and he was just going down this really just mediocre bad path, and then he decided to just go back to what he used to do, kind of give a reinterpretation of what he did back in 2014, but the off-season here just doesn't feel like that. It just feels like it's 12 tracks, 39 minutes, and it feels like really across it, he wants to get across a lot of themes and ideas, but it doesn't feel like a rapper like J. Cole's last ideas, his last things to say to the world. Because if that were the case, this record would be like a double disc. This man definitely has so much going on in his head that he hasn't told us about. So that's what I'm expecting on the next couple records he'll be dropping before he heads out. Because I feel like we're gonna get a lot of J. Cole content before he leaves. Because I feel like this man is just his brain is just filled with so much thought and so much just so much going on in there that I feel like he's not just gonna give us one 39-minute record that doesn't really dive too deep into the world and then kind of head out. Not to say this record is bad at all, but it doesn't dive deep by any extent. And I've listened to this record like 3 full times. I've listened to this record like 3 full times now, and upon those 3 full times, I need to plug this in real quick. I'm sorry. Give it a second. I hate when I have to do this in videos because it totally ruins the vibe. After listening to this record like 3 full times and a couple other just tracks here and there, kind of on walks and stuff, I've kind of determined that this is just a solid-ass album. The only issue I really have with the record is the fonting. I don't think that was cool. I mean, it looks cool, I guess, but it's so fucking hard to type, and honestly, I would have just been happier with just a normal font. Maybe keep it all lowercase, I'm fine with that. But the whole, every letter separated out, it's so hard to type. I don't like it, but whatever. He can do what he wants, and it's still a great album. I'm just saying I don't like that fonting choice. Opening track, 95 South, I think I kind of underplayed in my review. I really love this track upon a couple more listens. This is definitely kind of like his punchline track. This track is just punchline after punchline. At least the first verse is just punchline after punchline. Like, I'll put an M in your head, you Luigi's brother now. Just bars like that are just kind of going in like he's just kind of giving us puns. Some guy compared this to Big Sean puns. I don't agree. Or at least we're talking old Big Sean puns, because the newer ones are kind of cool. But, back in the day, he was saying she put that thong on my groin and it made that thing go boing boing. Or the infamously hilarious, she do tricks with that vagina, she a magician. It's more, they're not like that, though. I feel like there's actually a lot of creativity behind this track, and there's a lot of speaking about it. It's definitely one of the most hype-up big tracks. I quite enjoy it. I think it's a really solid opening. Those drums aren't really there, but I love what it does still. Amari is a great track, but I'm really surprised with how this track is performed. Okay, if I go to this record here on Spotify, and I look at the streams, Amari is currently the most streamed track. Well, no, not really. My Life is... Interlude's the most. Oh, no, the Climbback's technically the most. Second is Interlude, and third is My Life, and fourth is Amari. And I think the only reason for that is because Spotify, when featuring this album on New Music Friday, put this track of all tracks. And I really enjoy this track. I think it's a really fun, hype-up track. It's better than even 95 South. And I love the way it's halfway through, he hits these incredibly high highs with his rapping. It sounds amazing. But it's a great track. I love the track. It's just like, I do kind of sit here and I'm like, why is this track becoming so popular? The whole record is very popular. Like, this has been getting millions of streams. But this one track in particular is confusingly popular. But My Life, though, we move on to track number 3, My Life. I still really enjoy Amari, though. My Life is, without question, probably my most favorite. It's my favorite track, I think, on the whole record. I really, really love this track and what it does. I feel like the sampled beat is just so well done. It reminds me of, like, Under the Sun, that track on Revenge of the Dreamers 3. It reminds me of that kind of sound. But it also does remind me a lot that I did not mean to say. Like, it reminds me of a lot. The 21 Savage track. And one of my favorite songs. Like, not just one of my favorite trap songs, not one of my favorite 21 songs. Like, one of my favorite songs. That song is amazing. And I think My Life really does. It sounds kind of like that, but I feel like there's a little bit more, like, passion behind it. I really love Murray's hook, who I didn't know in the original review because he hid the fucking features. But now they're actually on, so I know it's Murray. I also didn't know Boss had 3 features on it. I didn't notice any of them. That was shocking to me that he was even on it. But then he was on it 3 times and I didn't notice. Point is, though, Murray does a great hook. 21 does a great verse, but I think J. Cole truly just gives a fantastic verse. The production really is one of my favorite elements of this track. I just love that beat so much. I feel like there's a lot more passion kind of touching onto how rap plays into their life and how this is really what makes them who they are. Love this track. Track number 4, Applying Pressure. I think this or Punching the Clock, the next track, one of these is my least favorite. I don't know which one though, because I really love the theme on Applying Pressure. And I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the J. Cole Randy, and it works, it fits. It's just not my favorite thing. But I really like the whole kind of commentary he gives on wealth and the criticism of the wealthy. I think Punching the Clock, though, I think it's a little worse for me, simply because I feel like Punching the Clock doesn't really get at a theme. I love the rhyming on that track specifically, but it doesn't really get at the same kind of theme Applying Pressure does. But I really love the beat on Applying Pressure. I could have done without that air horn at the beginning simply because of how memed that is, but it still worked. As a whole, though, these are 2 still very enjoyable tracks. They're just 2 of my favorite tracks on the record. The next 3, though, honestly, the rest of this is all just incredible. 100 Mil definitely is reminding me of that, like, that kind of trap sound that Middle Child had, like the same kind of production. It almost has an equivalent trap drum in the back. Not the same exact, like, horns. And I do think I like Middle Child more. I love Middle Child. That's honestly one of my favorite J. Cole tracks. But 100 Mil is just very much hype-up kind of banger. And there's even a lot of themes that even touches on in this one, like celebrity fame, relationships. I really love it as a track. I think it's truly one of the most enjoyable tracks on the record. Production, though, is just truly immaculate on this track. Pride is the Devil would be the second best on this album, though, right after My Life. I love this track so much. I feel like I do want to mention, though, I didn't notice this in my original review. He does sample the same song Can't Decide sampled on the Limbo by Amine. Just saying, though, I don't really remember Limbo by Amine. I liked it. It was a solid record, but without question, did it just not really stick with me. That the Pressure in My Palms was really the only track that I really revisited once. Surprisingly, though, because Roots is my favorite song, but I just listened to Applying Pressure, or no, not Applying Pressure, Pressure in My Palms more. But as a whole, it wasn't really that impactful of a record to me. I enjoyed it, though. Pride is the Devil, though, I think used the sample a little better. I like the way he used the beat more, and I think J. Cole and Lil Baby are honestly better artists than Amine. But I love the hook, though. This is one of my favorite hooks on the record. I feel like it's so catchy and enjoyable. This is the track that's easily been in my head the most. It just has such a fun rhythm to it. And I feel like there's definitely a very heavy-handed message about, like, how kind of, like, jealousy and pride really plays into just the world. And I mean, obviously it does, but I like the way it's handled. Lil Baby does a great verse. Some people saying he murdered J. Cole, and that's just not true. Like, yeah, he did great, obviously, but J. Cole is just a better rapper than Lil Baby. There are very few scenarios where Lil Baby would outperform J. Cole, especially on a track like this, especially on a track that really focuses on a topic like pride. I don't think Lil Baby really gets it the same way J. Cole gets it. He still does it very well. I really like his verse. I think Lil Baby, though, I mean, obviously, I think the best feature verse of the year, honestly, might be the Ones and Needs verse. That was just, not only did he just totally destroy Drake, it was just a great verse on its own. Like, just a great, if that was just its own Lil Baby track, it would be one of my favorite. It might even be just, honestly, my favorite Lil Baby track after The Bigger Picture. But Pride is the Devil is just a very enjoyable, fun track, and I think it really gets in a nice theme. It's very close second favorite. I would call this my favorite if just My Life didn't have everything amazing about it. Truly My Life and this, though, are some of my favorite songs that dropped this year. Same with Let Go My Hand. One of my favorite things I noticed about Let Go My Hand, though, was I noticed the amount of influences you can kind of hear on this track. The instrumental, what did it remind me of? Well, I know the flow it reminds me of. It reminds me of Eminem on Mockingbird, but the beat doesn't remind me of that at all. There was I can't even remember there was a track I was thinking about that this totally just brought me back to. I forget what it was, but it was a totally separate artist, and I felt like there's some like singing at the end that I think it's the Black singing at the end, or is it pronounced Six Lack or Black? I don't know. Point is that the singing at the end of this track, I almost had a mixing like T-Pab, but it's not at all like T-Pab instrumentally. Just had a mixing like it. Whatever, the beat really reminded me of something I can't remember though. But that rapping though definitely reminds me of an Eminem kind of Mockingbird sound. Crazy that I'd hear an Eminem influence in a J. Cole record, but I'm really happy to hear it because that is honestly just one of my favorite songs. Mockingbird's a beautiful song, and I think he uses that flow very nicely. The kind of, honestly, it even has kind of a Like Toy Soldiers flow too. Really, I don't know. Actually, maybe I don't know if I really feel that, but I don't know, it has a similar flow. Point is though, I know it's really enjoyable track. When we even get at the themes, beyond just the sound of the track, the themes it kind of gets at here of just growing up and maturity and how he sees his son and just all that, I feel like is just really emotional for him. And I feel like it fits very nicely on the album in that theme kind of sound. I think it's a great track. I don't think it's as good as Pride is the Devil or My Life, but it's definitely up there as one of my favorites. Interlude is a great ass interlude. This track I kind of had the impression of a single, and I definitely didn't love this track as much because I definitely felt like it got overhyped. Maybe the reason why I didn't really love this track as much is because Late With Ya came out, which I don't know if it's a better track, but it's certainly an underrated track. That as Isaiah track, fucking great. I love that song. I've been replaying it so much. I don't know what people don't see in it. It's just a solid ass song. I feel like in a month or two, we're going to really like this single. I love it. I think it's a great track. Mostly, I think the beat and I think Zay worked perfectly over it. But Interlude totally got more hype than it. And obviously, a J. Cole track is always going to get more hype than an Isaiah Rashad track. But, like, I think this track I think it got overhyped for me. People were calling this one of the best J. Cole songs ever. And I'm like, look, the beat is great. The flow is great. But an interlude will never be one of the best J. Cole tracks. I mean, I can't say that one of my favorite Jay-Z tracks is an interlude, but, like, this isn't nearly as good as that. This is a solid track. It has a solid verse, solid beat, but only on this album are there 5 to 7 tracks that I just enjoy more. I really enjoyed it, though. I think it's a solid-ass interlude. Mostly the flow just kills it. The Climb Back is honestly, I really like it as a track, but it kind of gave me the same impression as Interlude, where I just felt like it just got a little overhyped for me, and it got like kind of overdone for me. I liked it, I enjoyed it. Maybe it was another case of there was another track that came in at the same time that I enjoyed like as much as it, which was Lion King on Ice, which is a really good track in my opinion. Like I totally just, nobody cared about it. I would have loved to see it on this record. The Climb Back though is an enjoyable track. It has a very nice theme to it, but I'm not the biggest fan. Maybe it's mostly that 5-minute runtime, because I don't feel like it really does things for 5 minutes long. It's a great track, don't get me wrong, it's really enjoyable, well done. But I feel like there's just better on this record. And it doesn't really book at a theme than anything else on the album does. Honestly, if there was a track I'd remove, I think I'd be fine if this was removed. I'm happy with it being here, but I think removing this track I would have been fine with it. I do hope to see Lion King on Ice on It's a Boy, or what's the other record it could be on? The Fall Off. I really hope to see it on either of those, because that is a great track in my opinion. Close, I definitely underplayed this one when the review came out. Because I felt like when I first heard this track, I was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's nice, you know, it's a nice little track. But I didn't really realize the kind of theme he goes at here. There's very much a kind of change vibe, you know, I mentioned that in the video, but I didn't realize how similar they are. Change at the end of it where he talks about someone, a black man getting shot at 22, and then you can hear the funeral of everybody crying. It's a truly amazing song. Close, though, I really love the way it kind of has this sense of urgency to it, and the way it ends, just, damn, this life ain't no joke. There's a really impactful kind of sound to the track, too. It has nothing to do with the beat or the flow. It's just the story he kind of tells here. It's not mind-blowing. It's not like Dance with the Devil or Stan storytelling, but it's just a really impactful track in that sense, and I think it adds a nice flavor of emotion to the record. Hunger on the Hillside, I really enjoy. I think this is a really great closing. I think there's kind of a nice... there's this very nice beat. I think somebody said it's definitely the nicest beat on the record, not the best, but the nicest. I think I'd agree. Feels like kind of the softest, nicest track. I really like the boss hook. I thought that was very nice to addition to it. I really like the themes in this track, and I think it's just a great kind of way to end this record. And when he does the I got gray hairs, that always kind of hits me. I don't know why. It's not really that emotional of a line, but I think it's kind of this thing, him saying, damn, I'm getting old. Even though you're not. How old is he? He's in his 30s or something? Nah. But the point is, though, Hunger on the Hillside is a great closing of the record. As a whole, though, the Off-Season, I think, is a great album. I legitimately love this record. I think it has so much themes compacted into 30. This is really how you do a great album in a lot of senses. Like, not every album, I think, should be the Off-Season, but just this album really just feels like there's so little I would change about it. Like, 12 tracks, 39 minutes... And there's so much, like, no track feels like it's wasted. It's like every track kind of touches on its own theme and idea. And if it's not touching on a theme or idea, it's him rapping fantastically with a great flow over a great beat. That's just what I feel like this record really does for me. It just does so much that I feel like there's so much time put into a record like this. So much thought of what can I improve on this? Oh, does this track really need to be there? Maybe this track could be longer. Maybe I could cut a bit off of this track. I really enjoy the way he just really constructed the whole record on that sense. It's just really an enjoyable album, and I feel like this is really what I want albums to sound like. He even mentions this in the opening track. Your 30-track album sell a meek 100K because people keep dropping these crazy long albums, and only like 5 to 10 of the tracks are actually useful and needed. But like J. Cole comes out with a 12-song, 39-minute album, and it's gonna sell 300K. Like, do you guys get the message here? I really enjoy listening to records that don't waste fucking time. I'm actually going to listen to Culture 2 tonight for the first time, which I think is going to be a huge fucking waste of time. 24 tracks in an hour and 45 minutes, where I felt like Culture was the perfect length. I didn't need to go on Amigos rant there, but the point is that the Off-Season to me just truly feels like what it should have been. It shouldn't be too ambitious, it shouldn't be too emotional, and it shouldn't dive too deep into the mind of J. Cole and into his thoughts, because he can't have more content for the next couple records. But it doesn't hold back, though. I mean, it kind of holds back, but it holds back, but just enough for the record to still reach that point where I'd say I love it. This is easily my favorite album of the year. I think my initial favorite album of the year, I haven't talked about it yet. I didn't drop a review for it, but it was the Quad Echo record from Me to You, which I didn't think would be that great. And then I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, that's an incredible album. Love From Me to You. That album was incredible, but the Off-Season I think beats it for me. This record just truly, I feel like there was just so much passion into it. And honestly, J. Cole just fucking killed it, man. Amazing record. Truly incredible. Hats off to J. Cole for creating just such a great album, and I'm seriously going to be listening to this record for the next couple of weeks. I love it so much. The Off-Season by J. Cole. I am feeling a legitimate A here. My favorite album of the year, without question. It would be one of the best records to come out last year. Probably might be even like my second favorite album of the last couple of years. Like after Circles. I really love this album. Truly, I feel like J. Cole. Truly, this could almost be considered like J. Cole's in his prime right now. Like, this album's just solid as hell. What do you guys think on the Off-Season? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is the best J. Cole record? I've heard some people saying that. I don't think it's better than For Your Eyes Only or 2014 Forest Hill Drives. But I think it could beat with those two. Because two of those are some of my favorite records ever. But this could, you know, with a couple months, I feel like with more streaming of it, I wonder if it could go there. It might go down, though. There's a side of me that's a little like, am I overrating it? I don't really feel like I am, though. Truly great album. J. Cole murdered it. See you guys next time. Don't got anything else to say. So peace out. Bye. Oh yeah, 21 Pilots review this weekend. I can't wait. So excited for that. See you guys next time. Bye.